your girl Jill B87 here, and it's that time again. It's time for us to rank all the eyeshadow palettes I've used in the last couple of months or whatnot. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, one of them is kind of older, and one of them I just used recently, but I felt like it was okay to put it in here because I already have like my thoughts on how I feel about it. So I was like, let me just go ahead and just put it in here. It's fine. So let's get started. I believe it or not, all I have is a whole bunch of indie and like affordable drugstore type brands to review. I think I got one indie brand that's kind of like higher up that they sell in Sephora, but I just put it with the rest of the indie and affordable drugstore things because I was like, why the hell not? You know, it's only one palette compared to all the other ones. But anyway, let's get started with the luxury high-end stuff, and then we'll get into all that because it's literally like a stack almost as tall as like the, excuse me, hammer stand I have sitting here on my table. So the first one I have is the Tom Ford Pretty Baby Quad. I don't know if you all remember seeing this one. The video just went up for this like recently, like last Sunday, I want to say. And just in case you forgot or you didn't watch that video, this is what the inside of the quad looks like. So it's like, sorry, let me see if I can take this little plastic situation off without nicking a shade, because I seem to have a problem nicking shades when I do that. So yeah, this is what it looks like. It has this nice little dual chromy sparkly shade. Then it has like a purple shimmery type thing. So all of them basically are satins or like shimmers. None of them are actually what do you call it? Matte shades. And as I said in the last time I used one of his quads, I feel like it's overrated. There are dual chromes you can buy from indie brands that have just as much shimmer and color niceness to them, and they don't charge nearly as much. So that's dead last as usual. Next I have the Chantecaille Hummingbird Eye Quad Lit and Cool. So I didn't have the warm one with me, but both of them would end up in the same place, like above the Tom Ford, just because I felt like these were better than what I expected them to be because of the type of brand Chantecaille is. I assumed it wasn't going to give like that much shimmer and pigmentation, and they actually did quite excellent in that department, which I was shocked about. But, you know, for the price, I feel like they should have. So they met my expectations with, I mean, they did meet my expectations, which was a good thing because I didn't expect them to be much. Now, number one for me is the Juicy Boost palette from Colored Rain. I got this whenever it came out. What did it come out in August? I think it came out after I had already did my first video, which is why it's in this video. But I got the book version. I know they had a flat lay version, but it was just so big. So I was like, I don't want to do that. In retrospect, I understand why other YouTubers did, though, because they was like, they want to see the color story go straight across. Sorry, let me show it where you can actually see it. So this is the first page. And then this is the second page. So I'm fine with the one I got, though, just because I feel like this would be more travel friendly if I do decide to travel with it, or just as far as space goes. I still have all the colors that everyone else has, but I have more space in my personal opinion with this one. So I'm fine with having this one, although other people didn't like it. But I thought the colors were nice. Now, I will say the pink shimmer in there is absolutely terrible. Everyone says that, though, so it's not just me. It's just a horrible, difficult shade to work with. I remember KK talking about how she was disappointed in it when she had to try to work with it and how bad it was. So I'm like, I had that same experience. So I totally feel where she's coming from. But I still like the mattes that performed well in it overall, and compared to the rest of the luxury stuff and high-end stuff I had, I thought that was like the best thing. So there's that. Okay, so now we're gonna start into my long what is this, affordable indie type brands, and I'm gonna start off with Alter Ego. So this one is dead last for me because I don't like this cream formula of eyeshadow. I don't like it with Natasha Denona, so I don't like it with them either. Not to mention the colors in here don't translate to what they actually look like in the pan when you put them on your eye. And somebody else again has said this as well, so it's not like I'm always out here just shitting on brands. Like other people have said the same thing, like the colors in the pan don't match what you get on your eyes. And that's the same issue I just recently had with the Glam Light palette. If you all saw that video yesterday, I did a whole separate swatch thing comparing it to the Cake palette, and again talking about how, you know, they aren't the same, because I know everybody doesn't follow my YouTube channel, so I made sure I put so my Instagram followers could hear about it as well. But yeah, the color story is nice. I just don't like that cream to form a powder. Like, just leave it powdered. What's the problem? It's an eyeshadow, so it's be powdered. If you want a cream eyeshadow, put it in a pot. Like, why are you? I don't like it. Anyway, the next one I have is the LA Girl Breaking Free. This is Me palette. Now, the reason this is so far down is because I feel like they always have this issue of them not putting enough dark mattes in the palette. So it's like, they got this black and that's fine, but it's like I wanted some darker purples to go with this. So that's why it's dead at the bottom for me. The formula of it is fine. It's just, I feel like they don't ever put dark enough shades in their palettes, and that's my problem with it. So that's the problem. That's why it's at the bottom. The next I have is the Makeup Revolution Forever Flawless Flamboyance palette. If you all remember, I compared this to the Manny MUA, what is the Strawberry Dream palette. And as you can see, it's not exactly the same, but I feel like the eye looks I made with both of them were close enough to, it's like, if I had this on my eye and I told you it was his palette, I feel like you wouldn't be able to tell the difference because it did a very good job. And the quality of it was really nice. It's just compared to some of the other palettes I have, it's like not as good as those. So that's why it's further down. It has nothing to do with its quality. It's just more of with other things I have that you'll see later on. You'll see why it's as far down as it is. So next I'm just putting these together because I bought them together. And these are the Cara Beauty. What is this? I forgot what collection this was. This is their summer collection. This is Summer Stunner and this is Beach Days. So I ended up changing my mind about getting these because if you all remember in the first video I did, I said I wasn't going to grab these just because I felt like the color story is the same. And these color stories are different, but the same issue I have that I said before, I still have all these damn press glitters. 1, 2, 3. If we're telling Colourpop not to do this and they're more popular than you are, then why do you think it's okay for you to put in these press glitters? We don't want these goddamn press glitters. Stop putting these goddamn press glitters. They were getting on my absolute nerves with all these damn press glitters. So I think I've used them twice and I haven't touched them since just because they keep doing this damn press glitter thing and I don't have time for it. Take that shit and take it somewhere else. Don't bring it here. The next palette I have is the Artist Couture Caliente palette. I like this palette. It's just more of, you know, to me it's more of a summery color story. Not to mention, like, y'all know this isn't really my color story to begin with. But I like the brand and I like their shadow formula. So that's why I went ahead and got it. Because I was like, again, this would be a cute little palette to travel with. Or if I have an emergency, I need to grab a palette quick to take with me and do my makeup when I get where I'm going before I, you know, I'm seen. Then it would be a good little palette for that. But otherwise, I don't really like it that much. This shade Brillo was a disappointment because I thought it was going to be real poppy and, you know, colorful and nice. And it's more of like a topper-esque type thing. And I just would prefer if it had more, you know, pigment to it. So that's why it's where it is. Next, we have the Sweet Pinks by Juvias Place. If y'all remember, I liked this palette okay, but that shade, I talked about how terrible it was. I just wasn't impressed with the shimmers in here. The mattes blended fine. It was just the shimmers I was disappointed with, which is why it is as low as it is. Because it's not like there's anything wrong with the palette other than the shimmers. It seems like when Black-owned brands try to do pink shimmers, it's not going that well. Because I just said the one in the Colored Rain palette was terrible. And then I got this one from Juvia's Place and it's terrible too. So I'm like, all these just seem like they're very terrible. That just seems to be the theme I'm finding. They're terrible. Next, I have the Garden Variety palette from Colourpop. The mattes in here are okay. The shimmers in here are okay. It's just, to me, it's a mediocre palette. And I've noticed that the quality of Colourpop is going down. Like, the quality of this palette isn't as good as the ones they had initially came out with prior to quarantine. So, I don't know what's going on with it, but this one is just not where it's at. Not to mention, the color story, to me, is kind of boring. Because it's like you got, and then you got all these sequin shades in here. So, it's like, this is a sequin, and this is a sequin, and this is a sequin. Which is another reason it's further down on the list. Because it's like, I don't like all these sequin shades. I don't like them at all. They're terrible. So there's that. Next, I have the Tiny Marvels palette from Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson. If y'all remember, I was like, I bought this because of Mel, and I stand by that. I did. I'm not necessarily in love with the color story. I mean, it's okay, but it's just more of a, I'm a Mel Thompson fan, so I'm going to buy the palette. But, like, if I wasn't a Mel Thompson fan, I'd probably look at this palette like it's really, I don't know. I don't know how to, like, describe it. It's just like the color story isn't my cup of tea, but I like Mel, so I bought it. And the quality of it's nice, which is why it's as high as it is. Because now we're into the top, like 5. So number 5 on the list is the Cara Beauty Life of the Festival palette. And this palette is actually leaps and bounds better than the ones I showed you earlier on. Like the formula list, I don't know what they did with this one, but like this one is so much easier to blend. And I feel like the shimmers look a lot better. So I feel like they stepped up their game when it came to this palette, the Life of the Fiesta palette. This is like their Christmas collection, if I remember correctly. I think that's what somebody said. Don't quote me, but I believe people said this was supposed to be their Christmas collection. I thought it would be more like a Halloween collection. They have the dead type vibes is what it gave me, but you know, I'm not sure. I believe that's what I was told though. And this palette is amazing. I would definitely recommend you get this one over the previous ones I've shown you. So like I told you all, the Cannabis collection, don't really worry about that, or High Times, or whatever it's called. And then this summer collection, I wouldn't say get those. I would say get the Life of the Festival collection. Those palettes are really nice. So that was number 4. So number 3 is the Beautybay and Nikki Tutorials palette. Now, I know a lot of people said that they didn't like this palette. I really, really did like this palette. I've done like 2 or 3 looks with it. I did another one recently, like last week. I've done one for Instagram, and then I've done one for YouTube, and I liked all the looks I came out with this palette. I especially love the red shade that she picked for her brother. That is one of my all-time favorite shades in this palette. The shimmers are here are really nice. The mattes are really nice, and I didn't know what to expect from Beautybay because I had never bought into Beautybay shadows, but now it makes me want to buy more because I was quite impressed with her palette, and I thought it was very nice. So the next palette I have is the Mauves by Juvias Place. This is number 2. I like this palette, but we all know this is my like neutral color aesthetic. The shades in here are really nice. I'm not necessarily a fan of this shade right here, but I think it's just supposed to be more of a topper or inner corner thing. So the only thing I hate about these little palettes is sometimes I feel like they don't give you enough shimmers, and then sometimes I feel like they don't give you enough mattes. And then when they do the equal part thing, sometimes I feel like I don't necessarily like the finishes that they put on the shimmers, because you can't really do too much for matte other than make it sequin, and I'm not with that either. But yeah, but this one, I really like it. I think it's really nice. I can't wait to get the purple holiday one. I have not ordered it yet. I'm gonna order it when I get off filming with you all. So that one will definitely be coming. I'm only ordering the purple one though. I don't really care about the weird orangey yellow type of thing they're supposed to be having going on with the other holiday one. And I was gonna buy it from Ulta till I found out they're trying to force you to buy like the entire box. I don't care about the lip balms or whatever lip products they had going on with it. I don't want that. People trying to make lip balms be a thing. Lip balms aren't a thing here. The only lip balm I use is the Laneige one. So it's like I'm not gonna buy that set and force myself to have some lip balms I don't want. And it's like I don't want to break up the set and then just give y'all the lip balms and then keep the palette for myself, because I feel like that's kind of tacky. Especially since you know I bought the whole box and then I'm just like trying to offset it off to you. So I'll just buy the palette, which is what I'm actually going to use and review, and then call it a day. I might buy another lipstick shade too. We'll see. But the last palette I have is the BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin palette from the Weekend Vibes collection. Now, you all remember I did the avocado toast and the mimosas. And then they came up with the blueberry palette. So this is what it looks like on the inside. And we all know this is definitely my color aesthetic. I did compare it to the ice cream, the bubblegum ice cream palette. I didn't do an eye look. I know Karen Harris has done an eye look comparing this one and that one. So if you're interested in seeing an eye look like that, you should go out and check out her channel. But I did swatches to compare to that one just so you could see for yourself about the similarities and differences of it. But I just didn't think they were close enough for me to personally do an eye look, but to each his own. I love Karen Harris, and I'm going to go watch that video when I'm done, like, doing this as well. But anyway, this is number 1 for me this month, which is a shock, because y'all know I'm always talking about how they ain't got no black people and all that. And again, like I always say, I stand by what I said. That's not cool. That's not right. But at the end of the day, I am a reviewer. So sometimes I buy things even though I necessarily don't agree with what the brand does, especially in times like these, because everybody can't afford to go out and buy Chantecaille and Tom Ford. You might not even have the money to buy Colored Rain right now, because I think it's like $50-something or something. So that's why I have a lot of affordable stuff this month, if you haven't noticed, because I've been trying to keep that in mind as opposed to just buying the stuff I would normally buy. Now, I've still been out there buying expensive stuff. Y'all know I just put up the Pat McGrath. I just put up the Charlotte Tilbury. I just put up the Dior. So it's like we still gonna do that here. It's just more if I'm trying to incorporate other things. So just in case you can't afford that stuff right now, that I still bring in stuff that you can do. And that's why I've been doing a lot of palette mashups as well too. Because it's like, although it's an older palette, you might not have that older palette, but you might be able to be inspired by a color story of something I did, or some other stuff that I already own, or stuff that's similar in your collection, so that way you don't have to feel bad about not being able to go out and buy the latest thing or do this latest thing right now. So that's why I've had a whole bunch more affordable stuff, as you all see, as opposed to the, you know, stuff I normally review, which is high end. But anyway, let me stop rambling because I need to go order this palette before it gets away. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Man, these are getting shorter and shorter. This video is like 14 minutes long. Wow. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.